My sister labeled me vendor staff at the wedding I paid $12,000 for, so I canceled the catering, exposed their scheme, took back the money, and walked away for good. My sister Elena, a 27-year-old female, was getting married to her fiancé Dylan. I, a 30-year-old male, was genuinely excited for them. These two had been together for 4 years, living paycheck to paycheck, and I knew money was tight. Elena had been stressed about wedding costs for months, kept mentioning how they might have to cut corners everywhere because the venue was eating their budget alive. Being the older brother with a decent job, I wanted to do something meaningful for them. I'm talking about covering the entire catering bill, $12,000, plus a $6,000 cash gift for the honeymoon. Yeah, you read that right. That is not here is $50 for your registry money. That is holy. We can actually afford a real wedding money. I worked extra freelance projects for months, skipped my usual vacation, and even sold my gaming setup to make this happen. I told my parents I was handling the catering so Elena could focus on other stuff. They acted like I was some kind of saint, kept saying how generous and responsible I was being. My best friend, Adam, was my +1 for the wedding. He is one of those guys who can smell drama from 3 states away and has zero filter when it comes to calling out people's nonsense. When I told him about covering the catering, he looked at me like I just announced I was joining a cult. Bro, $12,000 for Elena? The same Elena who borrowed your Netflix password and somehow racked up 3 new profiles without asking? It is different. It is her wedding, right? Because marriage definitely fixes people who take advantage of you. I should have listened to him. The church ceremony went fine, standard stuff, nothing fancy. Elena seemed nervous but happy. She barely talked to anyone beforehand, which I figured was normal wedding jitters. Adam and I showed up in our best suits, me with the gift envelope tucked safely in my jacket pocket, ready to make their day. Then we got to the reception venue I had literally paid for. The couple ahead of us at check-in got these nice gold trim name badges with calligraphy and table numbers. They looked expensive, very Pinterest-worthy. My turn came up, and this woman behind the table did not even look up from her clipboard. She hands me what can only be described as the saddest piece of paper I have ever seen. White, flimsy, looked like it came out of someone's home printer with black text that said, "Vendor access only." No table number, no fancy font, just those 3 words that might as well have said unwanted. Adam's turn was next. He got a normal guest badge. I stood there like an idiot thinking there had to be some mistake. Adam looked at both badges, then at me, then back at the badges. "Hey, what the hell is this?" he said to the check-in woman holding up my vendor badge. "This guy literally paid for your food tonight." She just shrugged. "I just hand out what I am told to hand out."
Adam turned to me. "Dude, this is some serious disrespect right here."
That is when my mom appeared out of nowhere like she had been waiting in the wings. She leans in real close and whispers, "That means you eat in the kitchen with the catering staff."
Adam's jaw dropped.
"I am sorry, what now?" My mom just walked away like she delivered a weather report, leaving both of us standing there. Adam stared at her retreating figure like he just witnessed a hit and run. "Did your mom just tell you to eat in the kitchen at your sister's wedding that you paid for?" I walked into the main hall anyway because what else was I going to do? Adam followed, muttering under his breath about next-level family dysfunction and psychological warfare disguised as wedding planning. As soon as we saw the seating chart, reality hit like a freight train. My name was not anywhere, not at the family table with my parents, not at the cousins table, not even at the random +1s table in the back corner. Adam's name was there, though, at a table near the back with some college friends of Dylan's. "This is," Adam said loud enough for people nearby to hear, "they gave you a vendor badge but seated your best friend at the normal tables. What kind of backwards logic is that?" I literally walked around that entire venue looking for my name. Adam helped me check twice. Nothing. Meanwhile, servers are setting up plates at every table. Centerpiece is looking all perfect. Everyone else is chatting and laughing, finding their seats, taking photos. "You know what?" Adam said after our second lap around the room. "I am not sitting at table number 8 while you are getting treated like hired help. This whole thing is messed up. And there I am standing against the wall like I am working security or something at the event I paid for." Elena gets up to give her speech. All smiles, thanking everyone for being there, talking about how much it means to have all the people we love most celebrating with them. I am watching this happen while literally holding an envelope with enough money to pay for their entire honeymoon, having already covered their catering, and I am not even important enough to get a seat. Adam leaned over to me. "She really just said, all the people we love most while you were standing here like a bouncer. That is actually impressive." That is when it clicked. They did not want me there as family, they wanted me there as a wallet. The catering manager walks up to me during the speech. "You the guy who paid for this? We need you to sign some final paperwork in the kitchen." Adam intercepted him. "Excuse me, but this man is a guest at this wedding, not your employee. Maybe handle your paperwork at a more appropriate time." "It is fine," I told Adam. While my sister was giving heartfelt thanks to everyone who made this day possible, I was being escorted to the back like hired help to handle vendor paperwork. I signed what I needed to sign, walked back to the gift table, found my envelope and opened it up right there. I took out the check and said loud enough for nearby people to hear, "Actually, I think you will not need this anymore." Adam was right behind me. "Yeah, about time. This whole situation is insane." The whole place went dead quiet for like 3 seconds, then chaos. Chairs scraping, people calling my name, Elena screaming from across the room. I could hear my parents behind me yelling, come back," like we were in the Titanic. But you know what? I kept walking. Adam matched my pace, and as we headed for the exit, he called out, "Thanks for the entertainment, folks. Really showed your true colors tonight." We got to my car and Adam just started laughing. Not mean laughter, but the kind you do when something is so ridiculous you cannot process it any other way. "Dude," he said, "I have seen some family drama in my time, but this was next level. They literally treated you like catering staff at your own sister's wedding that you paid for. They did not want me there, fine. But they sure as hell were not going to profit from disrespecting me either." The text started the following morning around 6 in the morning. First my mom, then my dad, then Elena. All variations of the same theme. "Can we talk? Please do not make this a thing. Let us not ruin the weekend." Notice how not a single one of them said sorry, not one. Adam came over around midday with coffee and bagels. He had been getting updates from me via text, but wanted to see how I was handling everything in person. "So any groveling yet?" he asked, settling into my couch. "None, just a lot of corporate speak about miscommunication and wanting to talk things through." My mom's text was the worst. "We thought you would prefer helping behind the scenes since you always say you do not like being the center of attention anyway." Like I was supposed to be grateful for the privilege of being treated like the help. Adam read it over my shoulder. "Oh, that is rich. You do not like attention, so we decided to humiliate you. What is next? We thought you would enjoy eating scraps because you are always trying to lose weight." I ignored all of them for most of the day, took a long shower, made a proper breakfast, cleaned my apartment, and let them sweat it out while I processed what had actually happened. By midday, my dad was calling nonstop. After the 5th call, he texted, "Come over, we want to talk. Your sister is here too." "You going to go?" Adam asked. "Yeah, but not to forgive them. I want to watch them squirm. Mind if I tag along? I promise to behave." His grin suggested he had zero intention of behaving. "You sure this could get ugly, dude? After what I witnessed yesterday, I am invested in this now." When we walked into my parents' house, all 3 of them were waiting in the living room like some kind of intervention setup. Their faces shifted when they saw Adam behind me. "Oh," my mom said, clearly not expecting an audience. "Hi, Adam." "Mrs. Peterson," Adam replied with a smile that was probably too friendly. "Great party yesterday, really unique seating arrangements." My dad shot him a look but did not say anything. I sat down and waited. My dad went first with some garbage about how it was really unfortunate how things went yesterday. Not that they made it unfortunate, just that unfortunate things happened to occur, like bad weather or traffic. My mom followed up with corporate speak about miscommunication and logistics. She used the word oversight like 6 times as if my complete exclusion from dinner was just a spreadsheet error that somehow slipped through quality control. "Fascinating," I said. "So the oversight was what exactly? Forgetting to include the guy who paid for the food or forgetting to treat him like family? Just want to make sure I understand the sequence of oversights." Elena barely said anything, and when she did, it was vague nonsense. "I did not know that is how it would be. I thought you would understand, like I was supposed to be some Zen monk who would just float above the humiliation because family." I listened to their whole damage control presentation, nodding occasionally like I was actually considering their explanations. When they finished, I looked at all 3 of them and said, "I might change my mind." That is it, just those 4 words. I might change my mind. The shift in the room was instant. My mom's eyes lit up like I had just thrown her a life preserver. My dad exhaled like he had been holding his breath for hours. Even Elena looked at me directly for the first time since I had walked in. Adam raised an eyebrow but stayed quiet, letting me play this out. You could feel their hope thickening the air. My mom immediately started talking about how generous that would be, how the money would go directly to the honeymoon, how she did not want this little thing to hang over the family forever. My dad chimed in with some speech about how families have rough patches, but they work through them. Elena still did not say thank you, not even then. I just smiled, stood up, and said I needed time to think about it. I left them sitting there with that word might buzzing in their ears like a promise. Adam followed me out, waiting until we were in the car before he started laughing. "Dude, that was beautiful." They went from damage control to full hope mode in like 3 seconds. "You have got them right where you want them," and I meant it exactly how it sounded. Not yes, not no, just a long, uncomfortable pause where they would have to hope someone else would give them what they desperately needed. For the first time in years, they wanted something from me more than I wanted their approval. and I was going to let them feel what it is like to wait for someone else's generosity while having zero control over the outcome. They had made me stand around hoping for basic respect at the wedding. Now they could stand around hoping for my money. The following morning, I woke up to a voicemail from my mom. She was using that soft, careful voice you use when talking to someone who might be having a breakdown. She said she had been thinking all night about how things were handled a little too rigidly at the wedding. Still no actual apology. Then came the interesting part. They were delaying the honeymoon. Not canceling, just pushing it back a little due to some unexpected complications. She said it like their plans had hit mild turbulence that would sort itself out naturally. What she did not say was what I already knew. Without my check, they were screwed. That afternoon, my dad called with a different approach. Less emotional manipulation, more calculated flattery. He told me he was proud of the man I had become. Successful, stable, dependable. He said, not everyone in the family could say the same, and I should be proud of myself for having something to offer. Then he got to the point. We trust your judgment. I know you will make the right call. They were laying it on thick now, the fake compliments, the polished concern, the subtle reminder that I was the reliable one, the mature one, the one they needed. That is when I remembered something that made me smile. I still had the catering contract, and more importantly, I still had the final invoice that had not been submitted to my credit card yet. The catering company was waiting for my approval before processing the $12,000 charge, so I called them up. Hey, this is Jack regarding the Peterson wedding yesterday. I need to cancel that final payment. Cancel? The event already happened, sir. Check your contract. There's a 24-hour satisfaction guarantee clause. I am invoking it. Silence on the other end while they pulled up the paperwork. Well, technically yes, but this is highly unusual. The food was served. The event went off without issues. The service did not meet expectations. I am formally disputing the charge. It took 3 phone calls and 2 emails, but by the end of the day they had agreed to reverse the transaction. The catering company would have to eat the cost because their contract guaranteed customer satisfaction, and I was technically the customer. My parents had no idea this was coming. Friday at 2:17 in the afternoon, my phone rang. My dad, the catering company, is demanding payment. They said, you canceled it. What is going on? I disputed the charge. What? Why? Service was not up to standard. What does that even mean? Asked Elena. She was there and I hung up. Adam texted me 1 hour later. Please tell me you are documenting this chaos. This is better than any Netflix series. Within another hour, Elena was calling. Jack, they are saying we owe $12,000 for the catering. They want payment by Monday or they are sending it to collections. That is unfortunate. You cannot do this. This will destroy our credit. Then maybe you should have thought about that before treating me like hired help at my own sister's wedding. She started crying on the phone, but I was done being moved by other people's problems that they had created themselves. Please, she said, I will do anything. I will apologize publicly. I will tell everyone what we did wrong. Too late for that, I said. Should have thought about consequences before actions. That evening, I got another call from my dad. This time, he was not trying to be diplomatic. This is vindictive and petty. You are hurting your sister over pride. No, I said. I am protecting myself from people who see me as an ATM. We raised you better than this. Apparently not, and I hung up again. Adam came over that night with takeout and we played video games while my phone kept buzzing with increasingly desperate messages. You know what I love about this? Adam said between matches. They keep acting like you are the problem, like you're supposed to just roll over and take being disrespected because family. Let them scramble. Elena tried a different strategy Tuesday morning. She showed up at my apartment unannounced at 7 in the morning looking like she had not slept in days. When I opened the door, she immediately started with the waterworks. Jack, please, Dylan's parents are asking questions. They are wondering why we suddenly owe all this money when everything was supposed to be covered. I let her stand in the hallway while I made coffee, did not invite her in. They think we lied to them about having the finances handled, she continued. Dylan is humiliated. His family already thinks I am irresponsible with money. Sounds like a you problem, I said, sipping my coffee. She was genuinely panicked, mascara smudged, hands shaking. Part of me almost felt bad. Almost. You want to fix this? I asked. Yes, anything. Admit what you did publicly. Post it on social media. Tell everyone exactly how you treated me and why you are suddenly short $12,000. Her face went white. I cannot do that. Everyone would know we cannot afford our own wedding. Everyone is about to find out anyway when this goes to collections. She stood there for a long moment, probably calculating which would be worse, public humiliation or financial ruin. There has to be another way, she said. There is, I replied. Pay it yourself. And I closed the door. That afternoon, my parents tried the group approach. They showed up together, Dad carrying a folder like he was about to present a business proposal. We have talked to a lawyer, he announced. What you are doing might be considered harassment. I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. By all means, sue me for disputing a charge on my own credit card for services that did not meet my satisfaction. My mom tried the emotional angle. This is tearing the family apart. Your sister is having panic attacks. Dylan is talking about annulment because of the debt. Maybe she should have thought about that before deciding I was not worth a seat at the table. Dad opened his folder. We are prepared to offer a compromise. You reinstate the catering payment and we will pay you back in installments, no interest. Counteroffer, I said. Pay the catering company directly and we will call it even on the honeymoon money. They looked at each other like I just asked them to donate organs. We do not have $12,000, Mom said. Then figure it out. Sell something, get a loan, ask Dylan's parents, do whatever people do when they cannot afford things. This is our daughter's future you are playing with, Dad said. She chose this path when she treated me like the help at her own wedding. I am just letting her walk it. They left without another word. Adam stopped by that evening with food and snacks. So, how is Operation Let Them Figure It Out going? They offered to pay me back in installments. Oh, that is rich. Hey, can you pay for our daughter's wedding and then let us slowly pay you back for the privilege of being humiliated? These people have zero self-awareness. Wednesday evening, Elena called one more time. The collections notice came today. They want payment in full by Friday. Okay, that is it, just okay? What do you want me to say? I told you the terms. You did not take them. I cannot publicly humiliate myself. You know I cannot. Then enjoy explaining to Dylan's family how you managed to rack up $12,000 in debt in 3 days. Thursday night, my phone buzzed with a text. Fine, I will post it. I waited. Friday morning, Elena posted on Facebook, I owe my brother Jack an apology. At my wedding last weekend, we treated him terribly despite everything he had done for us. We excluded him from dinner, made him eat with catering staff, and generally acted like he did not matter. Now we are facing financial consequences for our actions and it is entirely our fault. I am sorry, Jack. You deserve so much better. The post got 47 comments in the first hour. Her friends asking what happened, extended family expressing shock, Dylan's relatives demanding explanations. Adam screenshotted the post and sent it to me with a caption. Ladies and gentlemen, we got her. My phone rang immediately. Elena again. I did it, I posted it, please fix this. I read through the comments for a few minutes, watched her social media reputation crumble in real time. People were genuinely appalled at how they had treated me. Payment has been reinstated, I said. Invoice is clear. She started crying again. Thank you so much. Do not thank me yet, I said, because we are not done. The line went quiet. What do you mean? That was just about the catering. We still need to talk about the other consequences. And I hung up. Let her think about what other consequences might mean. Let her sweat it out a little longer. After Elena's public confession, the family dynamic shifted completely. My parents stopped calling. Elena went radio silent after our last conversation. The extended family started reaching out. Cousins, aunts, uncles, all wanting to know what really happened. Some were supportive. My dad's brother texted me, saw Elena's post, what they did was messed up. Good for you for standing your ground. Others tried to play peacemaker. My mom's sister called asking if I wanted her to mediate some kind of family meeting. I politely declined. But the most interesting development was Dylan. He reached out directly Tuesday morning. Hey man, can we talk? Just you and me. We met at a sports bar near his work. He looked uncomfortable, like he'd rather be anywhere else. I need you to know I had no idea about the seating thing, he said. Elena handled all the family arrangements. I thought you were at the main table with everyone else. When did you find out, I asked. Monday when the catering bill showed up. Elena finally told me everything about you paying for it, about the vendor badge, all of it. He looked genuinely embarrassed. I feel like an ass. You covered our biggest expense and we treated you like garbage. What did Elena tell you about why it happened that way? Dylan shifted in his seat. She said your parents convinced her it would be less awkward if you did not have to sit through all the family drama and speeches, that you would be more comfortable helping behind the scenes. And you bought that? I did not know you well enough to question it. I figured it was some family dynamic I did not understand. I nodded. At least someone was being honest. Look, Dylan continued, I cannot undo what happened, but I want you to know that Elena has been a wreck since Sunday. She knows she screwed up. Good. The public post thing really got to her. People are asking a lot of questions. Maybe she should have thought about that before making me eat in the kitchen at my own sister's wedding. Dylan winced. Fair point. We sat in silence for a minute watching SportsCenter highlights. Is there anything that would fix this? He asked. Because right now, Elena thinks you hate her. And honestly, I am starting to think maybe you should. That caught me off guard. What do you mean? I have been with her for 4 years. I know when she is genuinely sorry and when she is just sorry she got caught. This feels like the second one. Interesting. Her own husband was starting to see through the act. "What are you going to do about that?" I asked. "I do not know yet, but I am not staying married to someone who treats family like this." I respected that. Dylan had integrity, even if it meant admitting he had married the wrong person. "For what it is worth," I said, "I do not think you knew. You got caught in the middle of their game." He nodded. "Thanks for that." We finished our food and shook hands outside. That evening, I made my final decision about Elena and my parents. I blocked all their numbers, unfriended them on social media, removed myself from every group chat, family email list, and shared account we had, changed my emergency contacts at work, and updated my insurance beneficiaries. If they wanted to cut me out of family events, I would make it official. No more games, no more manipulation, no more chances for them to use me. The following morning, I booked that trip to Japan I had been putting off. 3 weeks, all expenses paid with the money I had originally planned to give Elena. Adam was impressed when I told him, "Japan, damn, that is like the ultimate middle finger. I respect that level of petty." Turns out treating yourself right is way more satisfying than letting other people treat you wrong. 2 days before my flight, I got a message from an unknown number. "This is Dylan. Elena wanted me to tell you she is filing for divorce. Thought you should know." I stared at that text for a while, then replied, "Sorry to hear that. Hope you're doing okay." "Actually doing better than I have in months," he wrote back. Turns out this wedding thing was not an isolated incident. I left for Japan without telling anyone. No social media posts, no family updates, nothing. Complete radio silence while I spent 3 weeks exploring Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka with money that was supposed to be Elena's honeymoon fund. The trip was exactly what I needed. No family drama, no guilt trips, no entitled relatives expecting me to bankroll their mistakes. Just good food, interesting places, and the kind of peace you get when you are completely disconnected from toxic people. Adam house sat for me while I was gone and kept me updated on the chaos back home via text. Apparently, my parents had shown up at my apartment twice, called my office asking if I was okay, and even reached out to some of my college friends trying to track me down.
They are acting like you disappeared into witness protection, Adam texted. Your mom asked if I thought you were having a breakdown. I told her you seemed pretty together to me, just done with their nonsense.
When I came back, I had 17 voicemails waiting. Most were from my parents, progressively more desperate. As the days went on, a few from Elena, though I deleted those without listening, the messages started confident. "We need to talk about this situation." By day 10, they had shifted to concerned. "We have not heard from you. Please call back." By the end, they were borderline, panicked. "If you do not respond, we're calling the police for a wellness check." I laughed at that last one. They were so used to controlling the narrative that my complete absence sent them into full meltdown mode. My mom showed up at my apartment the day after I got back. She must have been watching for my car because she was waiting in the lobby when I walked in with my luggage. "Where have you been? We've been worried sick." "Japan," I said, walking past her toward the elevator. She followed. "Japan for 3 weeks without telling anyone?" I told the people who needed to know. "We are your family." I turned to look at her. "Are we? Because last I checked, family does not make each other eat in the kitchen at weddings." The elevator arrived. I got in. She tried to follow, but I blocked the door. "This conversation is over," I said. "Jack, please. Elena is getting divorced. She needs support right now. This is so humiliating." "Good for her. Maybe next time she will think twice before treating people like garbage." The doors closed before she could respond. Over the next few days, they tried everything. Emails, texts from relatives, even having my elderly grandmother call to guilt me into fixing the family. Each attempt just confirmed I had made the right choice. The most pathetic was my dad showing up at my office. Security called to ask if I wanted to see him. I told them I was in meetings all day. He waited in the lobby for 4 hours. When I finally left work through the back exit, I found a handwritten note on my car. "Son, please do not let pride destroy our family. We love you. We are sorry." I crumpled it up and threw it in the nearest trash can. Adam was waiting at my apartment when I got home. "Dude, your dad looked like a lost puppy sitting in your office lobby. The security guard said he just sat there reading magazines for hours." "Good. Maybe now he knows what it feels like to wait around hoping someone else will give him what he wants." That weekend, I got a text from Dylan. "Elena is moving back in with your parents. Divorce is final next month. Thought you should know she has been telling people you abandoned the family in their time of need." I replied, "Thanks for the heads up. How are you holding up?" "Best decision I ever made. Found out this was just the tip of the iceberg with her." Smart guy. He had learned what it took me 30 years to figure out. A month later, my parents tried one last manipulation. They sent a card on my birthday. Not a text, not a call, but an actual card in the mail. Inside was a check for $500 and a note. "We know money is not the issue, but we wanted to show we care. Please call us." I deposited the check and threw away the card. That money bought me a nice dinner and a new set of golf clubs. A small payment toward the years of disrespect, but it was a start. Adam and I went out to celebrate my birthday properly. $500, he said when I told him about the card. That is what they think your relationship is worth. Dude, you spent more than that on their anniversary dinner last year. 6 months after the wedding, I ran into Dylan at the grocery store. He looked better, healthier, more relaxed. We chatted for a few minutes about normal stuff, work, sports, the weather. As we were wrapping up, he said, "You know, Elena asks about you sometimes, wonders if you will ever forgive her. What do you tell her? That some things cannot be unforgiven, just forgotten." I nodded. Dylan understood consequences better than anyone in that family ever would. These days I am doing great. Work is going well. I am dating someone new, and I've got plans for another trip to Europe in the spring. Adam and I hang out regularly, and he never lets me forget that I dodged a major bullet. Best family breakup ever, he will say whenever the topic comes up. You went from unpaid ATM to world traveler in like 3 months. My parents still send holiday cards. I still throw them away. Elena occasionally tries to friend me on social media under fake names. I block them immediately. They made their choice. Now they get to live with it. It had been almost 8 months since the wedding, long enough for the silence to become my new normal. I had stopped expecting reconciliation attempts, stopped checking social media for family drama, and had genuinely moved on with my life. I was dating someone new, Sarah, a graphic designer I had met through work. She knew the basic story about my family situation, but did not push for details. We were having dinner at her place when everything exploded again. My phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. I almost ignored it, but the first line made me sit up straight. "Hey, this might be completely out of line, but I really need to tell you something. It is about Elena's wedding and what really happened behind the scenes. I was not sure if I should reach out, but I feel like you deserve to know." Sarah noticed my expression. "Everything okay?" I kept reading. "This is Zach, Dylan's cousin. I helped with a lot of the wedding planning because I work in event management. I saw all the original documents and communications. What your family did was way worse than you probably know." Another message came through immediately. "2 weeks before the wedding, your mom called with specific instructions. She wanted you classified as vendor staff so you would be out of the way during the important parts." Elena was on speakerphone. She laughed and said, "Perfect. He will not even notice. They planned the whole thing." My stomach dropped. Sarah was asking if I was okay, but her voice sounded far away. "There is more. Your mom specifically said we need his money but not his opinions during the family dinner planning." Elena agreed to everything. She said, "You were too controlling about family events, and this way you just shut up and pay for things." I set the phone down for a second. Sarah moved closer, reading over my shoulder. "Holy shit," she said quietly. The messages kept coming. "Dylan found out 3 days after the wedding when he saw the original vendor contract with your name listed as financial guarantor instead of family member. That is when he realized they had scammed you. He was furious, started questioning Elena about other stuff. They did not just exclude you from dinner. They actively planned to humiliate you. Your mom said he needs to learn his place in this family, and Elena agreed. I have this in writing if you need proof." One final message. "Dylan asked me to contact you. He said, you deserve to know the truth before you ever consider letting them back in your life. He has got documentation if you want it. I am really sorry, man. What they did was cruel." I sat there for probably 10 minutes just processing. It was not hurt I felt, it was clarity. They had not made a mistake or gotten caught up in wedding stress. They deliberately planned to humiliate me while taking my money. Too controlling was rich, considering I had never asked for anything except basic respect. Sarah was furious on my behalf. "You need to do something with this information." "Like what?" "Expose them, show people what they really are." But I realized I did not need to. They had already shown everyone who mattered. Elena's divorce. My parents' desperate attempts to get me back. The family members who had reached out to support me. It all made sense now. I replied to Zach, "Thanks for telling me. Can you send me any documentation you have?" Within 1 hour, I had screenshots of text messages between my mom and Elena planning my demotion to vendor status. Email chains discussing how to manage Jack's expectations at the wedding. Even a group chat with extended family where they joked about me not knowing my place. The evidence was damning, but more importantly, it was liberating. I forwarded everything to Dylan with a message. "Thanks for making sure I got this." He replied immediately, "Last I could do. They tried to play both of us. Glad you are free of them." I had thought I lost a family, but really, I just stopped feeding people who saw me as a resource instead of a person. The following morning, Adam came over for our usual weekend coffee. I showed him the messages from Zach. "Bro," he said after reading everything, "this is insane. They literally had meetings about how to scam you, like actual conspiracy-level planning." I know, part of me wishes I had this information earlier. Nah, you handled it perfectly without knowing. Makes it even better that your gut reaction was spot on. I deleted all the screenshots without looking at them again. I did not need to keep evidence of their betrayal. I had already moved on. Some truths do not set you free.